Moving beyond the basic need of out-of-the-box SharePoint features and realizing that there's a vast infrastructure of features that are available at a user's fingertips, this user has become a power user with great responsibility. These responsibilities make a power user critical to the success of collaboration across their organization. One responsibility is the participation within governance. A power user helps guide and shape how decisions are made about the use of collaboration, the use of tools and features, and how to guide the path of SharePoint. The power user becomes a translator with the ability to talk both to the technologists and to their business peers in business language about how SharePoint has assisted them in creating solutions. Also, a power user becomes the go-to person for applying permissions. They also have advanced capabilities of adding, editing apps, content, lists, and libraries that they didn't have before as a basic user. Let's take an advanced look at all of these responsibilities. As an active participant in governing your collaboration environment, it's important to understand the roles that everyone plays within governance. Here we'll take a quick look at what I like to describe as the 3 layers of governance. The first layer is made up of the strategy team. This strategy team is usually made up of 2 groups or a combination of them, where there is a business owner that's officially responsible for the collaboration environment and the active collaboration in your organization. And then there's a second larger group that's called the steering committee. And they're responsible for guiding the system to meet its goals. And usually it's made up of different representatives from the departments across the organization. The second layer within SharePoint governance is the tactical team. This is made up of 3 other, usually distinct, but sometimes overlapping groups. It's recommended that there's a solution advocate or business analyst who works very closely with the business to identify needs, quickly configure SharePoint, and create solutions and connects different groups of users together. They work hand in hand with the power user. Then there's a solution administrator, a SharePoint administrator, who's responsible for the software configuration, site collection administration, and farm administrators in a really big SharePoint deployment. Finally, there's technology support. These are your help desk, your server administrations. They're making sure that everything can run. Finally, there's a third layer. This layer is the community of practice that's made up of power users. You'll notice the size of these groups on the slide represent the number of people, and there are a lot more power users than there are in any piece of governance. So quite literally, the power user has power in numbers and can build the community of practice to affect how the decisions are made about the SharePoint farm and listen to the feedback from the technologists who have different reasons for making decisions because of technology and compliance requirements. Moving from governance, a power user becomes that advocate for collaboration, working directly with their peers on a day-to-day basis. And usually they're assisting in explaining what collaboration does. And in general, collaboration does 2 things. First, organize. This is the number 1 strength in SharePoint, structured collaboration, where you want to be able to perform daily work in a flexible but more formal way. Here, you want to stop searching through drives, sites, and email and put all of your information in one place. With SharePoint 2013 Document Sync, your personal documents or document libraries from a specific site can be stored locally on your computer. This is a real advance from SharePoint in the past. Also, SharePoint is not only a tool, but an infrastructure, and you have the ability to create sites how your organization needs them. The next way to explain collaboration is through sharing. As a Microsoft product, SharePoint works almost seamlessly with its peers, allowing for a low threshold of learning on how to interact with SharePoint and other Office-based systems. Also, it's a web-based system, and it's available not only for internal use, but with external partners, based on how you have it set up. And especially if you're using Office 365, you can instantaneously share with people using Microsoft Live accounts, and this might change in the very near future. Also, SharePoint 2013 has added many social features, so you can perform unstructured collaboration alongside your structured and organized content and have context on that new newsfeed capabilities in creating capture of knowledge that might usually, again, be stuck in email. Now let's take a deeper look into the power user's responsibility of applying permissions. SharePoint handles security by having its own set of groups, or containers to apply roles. And a role is a set of permissions that is applied to the group, and within the group are members, or individuals. The basic permission levels that a site has are owner, member, and visitor. Now, the exact role of a power user might vary, but typically a power user has been put into the owners group. And the owners group has the permission of full control, which, as you can see, lets them add and delete sites, lists, libraries, and manage permissions. The member group allows a user to edit content and sometimes delete it. And why I say sometimes is that now in SharePoint 2013, there is a permission level called Edit that allows for all of these features, which were typical in SharePoint 2010 of the Contribute group. But now, what I used to call in SharePoint 2010 Contribute minus is just called Contribute, which means they can do everything except delete content. This is a really neat feature to provide to people who you want to allow to add documents, but you don't want them to accidentally delete anything. Then finally, if you want a person to be able to find content, read it, be interested in it, maybe even comment, they're put into the visitor group and they're given read permission. Now let's see this put into action. Let's examine how a power user will apply permissions. SharePoint 2013 gives this great button called Share. It's available not only at the site level, but also on a content, a document, or a list item level. For this demonstration, we'll just take a look at the Share button on the site level. This pop-up window is very descriptive. On the top, it tells us that we're going to share the power user site, and then it's already shared with lots of people. Let's take a look. Okay, maybe this example site is not shared with too many people, but it would be a list of all of the people that you've already given permissions to. Let's go back and invite people. Here now you'll see that there is a standard role that this Share button will do, and it will invite people to edit and contribute. Let's invite Jen. Now, because we're talking about groups and roles, let's click on the Show Options button and see what group Jen will be put into. Jen will be put into the Members group with the Edit and Contribute permissions that we saw before. I actually would like to give Jen full control and put her into the Owners group. So I'm going to click on this and expand the choices. Here you'll see not only do I get the Owners group, but I get the Visitors group that we discussed earlier. I'll select Owners and Share with Jen. SharePoint 2013 also reminds me that I just shared with Jen. You can see that on the top right. Now let's take a look at the back end. Here you can see the three groups that we've discussed: members, owners, and visitors. And you can see their permission levels: edit and contribute, full control, and read. Now, if we want to put individuals into it, we'll come to the people and groups. And now you can see that the groups are listed on the left. And if we click on Owners, we can see that Jen is added directly into that Owners group through the Share button. I want to add Paige to the Visitors group, so let's do that. Click on the Visitors group, go into New, Add Users. Oh look, it's basically the same window, just with a little less information. Now let's share with Paige. You can see that Paige has been directly added into the group. So that's two ways to apply permissions at the site level.